All right, here we have some questions about ratios and fractions, even what looks like dividing a fraction. And so we're going to talk about that. First of all, the word ratio is very similar to the word fraction. In fact, if you think about it, the word ratio is even in the word fraction. And so I use that to kind of help me think about if I see a ratio that is really a fraction, but in disguise. So you would read this 18 to 20 is to 24 or 18 to 24. But in terms of, writing as a fraction, I would write it this way. So 18 over 24. And there are several ways that you may learn how to do this. This is a way that I find to be really useful, especially like going into some of the next things that you're going to see in algebra. I find that this is a very helpful way to do it. I want to think about the factors of 18. Now, all in the world that means is what can I multiply to get 18? You might think, oh, 2 times 9, or you might think, oh, 3 times 6. It doesn't matter which one you write. We'll put 3 times 6. But if we did 2 times 9, it's okay. We'll get the same answer. And then ask yourself, can you multiply any numbers to get these numbers? Well, 3, the only thing I can do is 3 times 1. So that doesn't really change 3. But 6, I could rewrite as 2 times 3. So the 3 doesn't change. So that means that these are the factors. This is called writing it in prime form, but you don't have to know that for this process. But I'm just thinking of breaking 18 down into what we multiply to get it. 3 times 2 is 6, times 3 is 18. Okay, let's do the same thing for 24. Let's see, 24. How do let me move myself over here. How can I get 24 when I multiply? 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. There's lots of ways to get there. I'm going to do 4 times 6. And now say, well, how can I break that down? Well, 4 is 2 times 2, and 6 is 2 times 3. So those are the things I can multiply to get 24. Okay, so now that I have them all listed, I'm just going to see what I can cancel out. And some teachers don't like to use the word cancel out. They don't like that phrasing. What are you actually doing? You're actually dividing so that it equals 1. And so any pair that's the same is going to divide and equal 1. So I see I have a pair of 3s. That'll divide to equal 1. So I can mark those out because it's just equal to 1. And if we multiply by 1, it doesn't change anything. And I see a pair of 2s. It can only be top and bottom. You can't mark it out if they're beside each other. So these 2s that are next to each other have to stay in the problem. What's left on top? 3 times really just 1s. 3 times 1 times 1 is still just 3. And on the bottom, I just have 2 times 2 times 1 times 1. So 2 times 2 is 4. That is the simplest form of 18 to 24. It is a 3 to 4 ratio, but they say to write it as a fraction, so we'll write it as 3/4. Now, that's not the only way to do it, but that is one good way to do these. So 20 to 15, you might want to pause the video and see if you can do it yourself before you see how I do it. All right, 20 to 15 is going to be written 20 over 15. Whatever's listed first always goes into the numerator, the top number. And the second number always goes to the bottom or the denominator. Okay, so I know to get 20, I could do 4 times 5, and that would be 2 times 2 times 5. So 2 times 2 times 5. And to get 15, I can just do 3 times 5. There's nothing else I can multiply to get 15. So when I do that, I see that I can mark through the 5s because they divide and equal 1. And that leaves me with 2 times 2 on top over 3 on the bottom. And so 4/3 is the simplest form of this 20 to 15 ratio. All right, last one. Now that you've had 2 examples, pause it and see if you can get the third one. Okay, let's start to break this down. And so 12, let me think. 12, I could say 2 times 6 or 3 times 4. Either of those is fine. 2 doesn't break down into any further factors, but 6 could be 2 times 3. So 2 times 2 times 3, that makes 12. 28. What comes to mind to me would be either 2 times 14 or 4 times 7. I would do 4 times 7 probably. Doesn't matter because remember when you break it down, you'll always end up with the same final answers. So 4 is 2 times 2, and then the 7 is just 1 times 7. There's nothing else I can multiply to get 7. So I'm going to put 2 times 2 times 7. And then I'm going to mark out what I can. And so the 2's can cancel, the 2's can cancel again, and that's it. I have a 3 on top and a 7 on the bottom. There's nothing to combine those with. So 12 over 28 reduces to 3/7. All right. I hope that method helps you.